Guy Fieri starts off the episode like always, bringing his excitement and signature style, inviting viewers to join him for another ride to what he calls Flavortown. Right away, he hints that this will be a special episode, a Flavortown feast, letting us know that we're going to see all kinds of funky and delicious flavors from 3 different cities: Atlanta, Los Angeles, and Cincinnati. Each place will have its own unifying food theme, as the show always does, focusing on the amazing stories behind the small, independent eateries that keep America's comfort food scene alive. Guy's first stop on this episode is in Atlanta, at a place called How Crispy Express. It's run by 2 buddies, Greg Best and Will Silvernagle, guys who literally started selling chicken out of a bucket during the early days of the pandemic. Their story is a cool example of creativity and resilience. They cooked chicken on a roof, lowered it down in a bucket, and used a bullhorn to let people know their orders were ready, all while keeping everyone distanced and safe. This already shows that these guys have more than just business smarts. They've got big personalities and a lot of heart, which is something Guy always looks for in an eatery. Will is the main flavor creator while Greg is the guy out front, serving as the hype man and, as they joke, the bird barker. Guy is clearly amused by them and gets right into the thick of things with the prep. They walk him through the signature, Honey Boy, fried chicken sandwich, the house specialty that has made them famous in their neighborhood. The process begins with a custom seasoning called Sprinks, a blend of onion powder, smoked paprika, chicken bouillon, garlic powder, ranch powder, salt, dill, and tarragon. This is mixed into buttermilk with lemon, forming the marinade in which trimmed chicken thighs are soaked for 2 to 3 days. Right away, you see the attention to detail, the care for real flavor instead of shortcuts. It's a sign of the small business pride. These cooks want each bite to taste memorable. Then the breading comes together, which uses a similar spice profile, and the chicken rests after being breaded to ensure the coating sticks perfectly. Then it's fried at a very specific temperature because these guys actually care about texture as much as flavor. The chicken doesn't stop there though. It's dumped into a homemade garlic honey glaze, which adds a sticky, sweet, and savory layer, and topped with a unique smoky lime mayo that gets its punch from real lime zest, smoked paprika, and more of those homemade touches. When they assemble the sandwich, it's not just chicken and bread, it's stacked with a mayo-based sesame slaw, sweet pickles, and a little sprinkling, for good measure, then topped with sesame seeds. The results are what the customers rave about: extra crunchy, juicy chicken with lots of bright, bold, and even tangy flavors. Through their storytelling and their food, Guy shows us the personal connection these owners have with the food and the way they serve their neighborhood. It's about family, support, and making something really good in the face of adversity. Guy also explores how Crispy Express is more than just chicken, noting their dark meat chicken nuggets and, more surprisingly, their patty melt empanadas. The nuggets use thigh meat and a special marinade, leaving them more flavorful than your typical white meat nugget. The patty melt empanada, though, is a real standout and a surprise for anyone expecting only chicken from this restaurant. The filling is ground beef, caramelized onions cooked in stout beer, cheddar cheese, and pickles, wrapped in homemade empanada dough and deep fried, then served with a sauce called Boom Sauce. These empanadas show that, even in a small kitchen, great cooks can stretch beyond what people expect. They don't just have one trick, and they care enough to make bits of comfort food that blend cultures and ideas. The empanada with pickles and cheese is a nod to the American patty melt but wrapped into a Latin-style dough, showing how food can cross boundaries and become something new in a small restaurant. Patrons share what makes How Crispy so special, how every bite feels homemade, how these are real people in the kitchen cooking with care, and how it's worth going out of your way or even driving an hour just to get a taste. The vibe here, as Guy explains, is full of energy and fun. Greg keeps up the chicken barks, everyone's joking and excited, and people in the restaurant aren't just there for a meal, they're part of a community. At the end of the Atlanta segment, the feeling is that this place stands as a testament to small businesses fighting to survive and thriving by focusing on flavor, friendships, and the joyful chaos of being a local food spot. Next, Guy heads to Los Angeles, and this time he brings along football analyst Jay Glazer for some fun. They stop at a restaurant called We Melrose, which was started by chef Armin Pasculian. Armin's story adds another layer to the episode, the blending of Armenian Georgian heritage with the American melting pot. Armin originally opened his place as a bakery, specializing in Armenian baked goods. But, like so many small businesses when COVID struck, he had to adapt. He started weaving in more popular dishes, creating things that bridged the food of his heritage with the comfort food loved by locals in Los Angeles. The menu grew, mixing American, Armenian, Georgian, and even Middle Eastern flavors to create something new. The dish that takes center stage here is the Nashville hot cod sandwich. Armin makes everything from scratch: light and airy sesame buns, house-made tartar sauce with capers, lemon, dill, and even house-pickled cucumbers. The cod is breaded, then fried, unusually not in oil, but in beef tallow, which is how McDonald's used to fry their fries. This change makes the fish extra flavorful and crisp. The sandwich is built carefully with the spicy cod stacked on the sesame bun, slathered in tartar sauce, topped with house pickles. The flavors blend American Southern spiciness with the sweetness and complexity of handmade bread and fresh toppings. Armin's attention to putting so much tartar sauce is both for cooling the spicy fish and for taste, showing his chef's instinct for balance. The audience sees how different backgrounds, like Armin's Armenian roots and the Los Angeles food scene, come together to create something people come back for and call the best in the city. Another highlight is the sujuk khachapuri, a dish from Georgia but made with Armenian twists, showing once again the cross-cultural fusion that's a theme this episode. It's bread stuffed with a 3-cheese mix: mozzarella, cream cheese, butter, feta, sprinkled with sesame, baked, topped with sujuk, Armenian sausage, and an egg yolk, then ripped and dipped, almost like a cross of fondue, pizza, and an open-faced calzone. Armin and Guy share laughs making it, and Guy notes how the cheese blend inside fits perfectly with the chewy, soft bread and the salty, spicy sausage. This dish is something that people say is even better than pizza, which is high praise in any culture. What's clear is that Armin refuses to cut corners. Everything is made in-house, from starters for the dough to house pickles to mixing all the sauces and spices by hand. Even if the menu seems simple, the care put in is deep, and the result stands out as a new way of seeing comfort food. Patrons talk about how each plate on We Melrose's menu is special. There's laffa with bolognese, falafel wraps, and the khachapuri, each bringing a unique twist but rooted in things people already love. Armin's approach is about blending cultures and flavors, pushing the comfort food envelope in Los Angeles while honoring his heritage. Guy and Jay's banter adds fun, but their shared respect for the chef's work shows the underlying point, that great food tells stories and brings communities together, whether you're talking about football, family, or where you came from. The final stop is in Cincinnati at Café Mochico, owned by Elaine and Eric Bentz, two chefs who met in Northern California and decided to bring their talents to Ohio, opening up an Asian bakery and ramen shop. Their story is a culinary love story. They fell in love, moved to Cincinnati, and combined their skills to create a unique restaurant. Elaine's background is in French-style baking, so she brings precise technique to Japanese and Asian treats, making things like ube halaya crescenta and barbecue pork bao. Eric, meanwhile, runs the ramen side, making noodles and broths with intense attention to both Japanese authenticity and regional Cincinnati twists. Elaine makes the bao dough from scratch, using bread flour, sugar, yeast, milk powder, and a roux, a French touch. The barbecue pork that fills the bao is slow roasted, then cubed and cooked into a gravy with star anise, 5-spice, hoisin sauce, oyster sauce, and mirin. The bao has a unique cookie topping, making it both sweet and savory, soft inside and a little crunchy on top. This attention to texture and contrast is classic in French pastry but rarely seen fused with Asian buns. The result is something customers rave about, saying it's lights out, the kind of treat you bring friends to taste when they visit from out of town. Eric's side of things is ramen, and instead of just serving the classic Japanese varieties, they come up with Cincinnati-style ramen, a bold, creative move. Inspired by the city's love for Cincinnati chili, their ramen gets an extra blend of spices: cumin, cinnamon, Japanese ichimi, Sancho pepper, allspice, garlic powder, then layered with traditional Japanese tare, the flavor base made with soy sauces, mirin, fish sauce, mushrooms. The noodles are custom mixed using 4 types of flour and made with alkaline salts, giving them the classic chewy, yellow bite of Rio ramen. The broth blends pork, chicken, tomato, and all those flavors and is poured over the fresh noodles, then topped with Cincinnati-style chili, diced onions, and cheese. The bowl is a fusion of 2 distinct comfort foods from 2 continents, but the result works, not as a gimmick but as a loving tribute to both cultures. Café Mochico is a perfect example of how independent eateries are spaces for creativity, fusion, and the personal touch of chefs who put themselves into every dish. Elaine and Eric's place is about bringing something new to Cincinnati, about combining French techniques, Asian flavors, American diner favorites, and Western hospitality. The bakery and ramen shop work 50-50. Up to 2 p.m. it's pastries and savory baked treats, then for dinner it's pure Japanese comfort with a twist. Customers see it as a neighborhood haunt, a place to get breakfast, lunch, dinner, something unique for guests, or something that just feels like home. Throughout the episode, Guy Fieri highlights a couple core themes: resilience in the face of challenges, the creativity that thrives in small, independent kitchens, and the way food can bring people together, across cultures, cities, and even during hard times like a pandemic. By focusing on these 3 very different restaurants, each born in hardship but growing because of the owner's care, talent, and willingness to take risks, the episode becomes more than a food show. It's about American spirit, the blending of backgrounds, and about communities built one bite at a time. Symbolism plays a role, too. The chicken bucket lowered from the roof at How Crispy Express is more than just a creative solution. It's a symbol of how businesses had to adjust for survival, literally adapting to challenging situations with ingenuity, but without giving up quality or care for others' safety. The patty melt empanadas are symbolic of how comfort foods get reborn by blending traditions, Latin dough around an American deli staple, finding new meaning and surprising delight. The khachapuri at Melrose is a symbol of migration and transformation. The dish is Georgian, the sausage Armenian, the cheese blend reflects European influences, and it's baked in Los Angeles for people who might never have tried something like it before. Every step from kneading dough to sprinkling sesame seeds is a gesture of respect for both origins and new homes. At Café Mochico, the cookie-topped bao and Cincinnati-style ramen symbolize marriage, not just of the chefs but of the traditions, skills, and flavors, all blending to create something new in a city that's learning to appreciate foods from around the world made with heart and skill. The ending of the episode brings everything together with Guy's signature warmth. He says goodbye, reminding viewers that there are even more spots like these all around the country, promising more stories of people and flavors to come. There's a playful bit about how regulars should have secret ID cards to cut lines, a final wink at how beloved these places are to their communities. More than just showcasing new dishes or restaurants, the episode closes on the idea that what makes each stop special isn't just the food, but the stories, the struggles, the creativity under pressure, and the spirit of generosity, humor, and resilience that keeps these places alive. When you look at diners, drive-ins, and dives as a whole, especially an episode like this, it stands out from other food shows by putting human connection front and center. Shows like Man vs. Food or Bizarre Foods also showcase unique eats, but Guy Fieri's approach is about the people first, the cooks, the families, the backgrounds. Every episode serves as a time capsule for local food culture, and Season 52, Episode 8 is a reminder of how food reflects who we are, where we've come from, and how we push forward together. For anyone watching, the message is clear: comfort food is never just about calories or taste, it's about memory, family, resilience, and hope. Whether it's spicy, sweet, crunchy, or creamy, it holds a place in the heart, especially when made and served by people who truly care. The pandemic frames the stories in this episode not as a struggle, but as a backdrop for innovation, warmth, and the unbreakable link between food and community. There is also ample foreshadowing throughout the episode. Guy keeps teasing that surprises are coming, that these aren't just ordinary sandwiches or noodles, but something more. This keeps viewers on the edge, waiting for each new twist, whether it's the surprise of patty melt filling in an empanada, or the fusion of Cincinnati chili and traditional ramen. Like many episodes before, there's a satisfaction in seeing something familiar, like a chicken sandwich, a fish sandwich, or a bowl of ramen, spun into something extraordinary through patience, skill, and imagination. By the end, Guy's journey feels both complete and like a prelude. He's given us a taste of what's possible in America's kitchens, shown how diversity and adversity can lead to even better food, and teased that there's always more to discover next time. As the credits roll, what lingers is a sense of belonging, of connection to each city, chef, and dish, and a reminder that the spirit of Flavortown isn't just about flavor, it's about community, creativity, and heart.